Hello everyone, Sergeant Arthur right here, and today I am tired as heck. But anyways, let's get down. Let's get down to business. This is going to be about Napoleon, apparently smashing Prussia with facts and logic. Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. Two powerful and well-known armies going head to head in a battle that will in battles that will decide the fate of Europe. Hundreds of years later. Obviously, in this case, Prussia is going to get smashed because Prussia's tactics were extremely outdated. And this whole thing was actually really good for Prussia, I think, because it sort of forced them to have to modernize. They had to be like, okay, we just got destroyed by Napoleon. That can't happen again. We're Prussia. We need to come up with a way to modernize our army. So yeah, it sort of forced them to do that. Without Napoleon, Prussia couldn't have united into the German Empire either. So yeah, very, very cool stuff. Anyways, that was a long enough intro. Let's get started.
An Epic History TV History March collaboration, supported by our sponsor, the Great Courses Plus.
Oh, again.
In December 1805, at the Battle of Austerlitz, Napoleon Bonaparte, Emperor of the French, won a crushing victory against the joint forces of Austria and Russia. Napoleon now dominated Europe, able to hand out spoils as he saw fit.
Wow.
In February
France over
1806, he sent an army led by Marshal Massena to overthrow...
Wait, what? They just went through the Papal States? They just let them walk straight through their country?
...the King of Naples, who dared to side with his enemies, and gave his throne to his own brother Joseph instead.
Oh, that's nice of him.
Another brother, Louis, was made King of Holland. His German...
Oh yeah, by the way, there's something very, very cool and interesting that I bet y'all didn't know about Holland or the Netherlands. So, calling the Netherlands Holland would be like calling the United States of America Dakota. Because all Holland is, it's just North Holland and South Holland, but of course in Dutch. And the Netherlands, they're like, hold on, follow my mouse, they're like right there. And they're like the most populated states. So, yeah, it's Holland doesn't really refer to all of the Netherlands or even their colonies that they have. But just so interesting because so many people call it Holland for some reason. Like, we don't call the United States of America Carolina or Dakota. But yeah, it's just a really interesting fact.
German allies, Bavaria and Württemberg, were elevated to the status of kingdoms.
Wow.
While Napoleon made himself protector of the Confederation of the Rhine.
Wait, what?
A new alliance of German states.
Oh, wow, this started early. Wow, okay, so they just joined France? Okay.
That would contribute 60,000 troops to his army. In recognition of the new reality, Emperor Francis of Austria formally dissolved the Holy Roman Empire, founded by Charlemagne 1,000 years before, but now without influence or purpose.
Also, I have one more fact. Liechtenstein, which is a state between Switzerland and Austria, is like literally the last surviving piece of the Holy Roman Empire. It's really cool.
Austria had been humiliated. France remained at war with Britain, Sweden, and Russia. But in the summer of 1806, all eyes were on
Prussia. Napoleon is a monster has emerged from the mire. Queen Louise of Prussia. Wow, that's rude.
The Prussian king, Frederick William III.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate how much land they have? Wow. This is whenever they were at their peak at this point. Of course, their peak before the Napoleonic Wars. But yeah, look at that. That is very thick.
Regarded Napoleon with deep mistrust and had been about to join the coalition against him when news arrived of its disastrous defeat at Austerlitz. He was heavily influenced by his wife, the celebrated and popular Queen Louise, who detested France and Napoleon. She led the influential War Party at the Prussian court.
Wow, a war party. That is interesting. It's only something you hear about from Prussia.
Matters came to a head over Hanover, a German state which had belonged to British King George III, been occupied by the French, and given by Napoleon to Prussia as compensation for other territorial changes.
Oh, wow.
Now the Prussians learned
Such a weird and complicated history of Hanover. And then after the Napoleonic Wars, they just go back to Britain.
that Napoleon had secretly offered to give Hanover back to Britain in exchange for peace.
How rude!
Frederick's advisors now persuaded him that war was the only honorable course.
Yeah.
But Prussia then made a basic strategic blunder, sending an ultimatum to Napoleon without consulting its new allies in the Fourth Coalition.
Hey, we're not gonna join the war because our allies are very incompetent. And then, like, a year later, hey, we're gonna join the war with, like, the same incompetent allies, but -1. And while France is even more powerful. What? Why would you do that? Doesn't make any sense. Like, at least get, like, some of these smaller German states on your side, or, like, get Austria or something. Gosh.
Their forces were too far away to help Prussia.
Oh, God. Yeah, like, in real life, the Russian forces could only really help whenever Prussia was, like, this small and defending at, Königsberg, which is modern-day Kaliningrad in Russia.
Who would now face Napoleon's Grande Armée with just the small state of Saxony for support.
Oh, they have a friend. That's cool. You can do it. Oh, shoot, they look outnumbered.
In 1806, the Prussian army had a fearsome reputation that dated back 50 years to the reign of Frederick the Great. Napoleon, a student of history, regarded it with respect.
That's cool.
But Prussia's army had been allowed to rest on its laurels. Its generals were old, its staff work hindered by bureaucracy and personal rivalries, its movements ponderous and predictable.
That's not good.
Prussian soldiers, however, could be relied on to fight with pride and determination, while Prussian cavalry was regarded as amongst the best in Europe.
Nice.
In October 1806,
why are they, like, blue now or purple?
Napoleon invaded Saxony with an army of 166,000 men and 256 guns.
Doesn't really look like they're going into Saxony. Looks like they're going into these other tiny states. Wow, I feel bad for the person who had to draw all of these different tiny German states.
Advancing in 3 columns, the French crossed the mountain forests of the Thüringer Wald, along roads carefully reconnoitered by scouts and spies. Napoleon intended to threaten Leipzig and force a decisive battle with the Prussian army, which he believed was near Gera. The Prussians were, in fact, further west, concentrating near Erfurt, on the west bank of the river Saale.
This is your chance.
Its commander, the Duke of Brunswick, had hoped to threaten the flank of Napoleon's advance.
And that was your chance.
But wrong-footed by the speed of the French, he now ordered a retreat north to find a new defensive line.
Okay.
On the 10th of October, at Saalfeld, Marshal Lannes' 5 Corps clashed with a Prussian advance guard commanded by Prince Louis Frederick, the king's cousin. The Prussian force was routed.
Isn't that the same name as his wife, or the queen?
And Prince Louis himself killed in combat with the quartermaster of the French 10th Hussars. 3 days later, Lannes made contact with a large Prussian force near Jena and sent news to Napoleon. The French emperor, believing he'd found the main Prussian army, rapidly issued orders for his corps to concentrate for battle at Jena. Bernadotte's 1 corps and Davout's 3 corps were to cross the Saale and fall on the Prussian flank from the north. But Napoleon was wrong.
Ooh.
Lannes faced a 35,000-strong Prussian rearguard, commanded.
How is it that Napoleon is making all these mistakes, yet Napoleon smashes Prussia?
By General Hohenlohe. The main Prussian army, 52,000 men under the Duke of Brunswick, was further north, moving straight into the path of Davout's 3 corps. The Battle of Jena began at 6:30 a.m. on the 14th of October in thick fog. Marshal Lannes' 5 corps already had a toehold on the plateau west of the town and river. His first task was to drive back the Prussians and win room for the rest of the French army, arriving by the hour to deploy. His infantry led the way, and fierce fighting broke out for the villages of Cospeda, Clausewitz, and Lützeroda.
Oh wow.
Meanwhile,
There's a lot of
Rogereau's 7 corps advanced through a ravine, emerging onto the plateau on Lannes' left flank, while Soult's 4 corps climbed steep tracks to form on his right.
Yeah, get
Napoleon joined Lannes in the center of the battlefield, organizing a 25-gun battery to support the attack on Vierzehnheiligen. The village was won, but then lost to a determined Prussian counterattack.
Yes! Russia, you can do it. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of French reinforcements coming. They just keep streaming in.
On the right, around 10 a.m., Soult's infantry secured Clausewitz, but was counterattacked on its right flank near Rödigen. A decisive charge by Soult's light cavalry drove off the Prussians, routing their infantry and capturing 2 enemy colors. As 6 corps began to arrive on the plateau,
gotta go to that river and defend.
Its fearless but impetuous commander, Marshal Ney, ignored orders and dived into the fighting around Vierzehnheiligen, becoming briefly cut off by a Prussian counterattack, having to be rescued by Guard cavalry. General Hohenlohe was expecting the arrival of 15,000 more troops under General Ruchel at any moment.
Yes, there they are.
Until then, he remained largely inactive, shoring up his line and ordering limited counterattacks. But he had run out of time.
Oh my gosh.
Napoleon had begun the day with just 25,000 men. By 12:30, a steady stream of reinforcements had brought his strength up to 96,000.
What?
As the Emperor rode past
They quadrupled, and they're against 36,000 Prussians or something.
The Imperial Guard, one young soldier, eager to be sent into action, called out, "Forward!" Napoleon stopped and demanded to know who had spoken, then rebuked the soldier as a beardless youth who ought not to offer advice until he too had commanded in 30 battles.
Dang.
But the moment
Napoleon doesn't have a beard either, so it's kind of critical.
had arrived. Although the Guard, to its frustration, remained in reserve, the other French corps were ordered forward in a general attack.
Yeah, the Prussians are
Russian
screwed.
army began to give ground, At first it kept its discipline, but then disintegrated into a general rout. Murat's cavalry were launched in pursuit, riding down and sabering hundreds of fleeing Prussians.
Dang.
General Ruchel's 2 divisions finally arrived at the worst possible moment. They briefly held up 5 Corps' advance, but were soon outflanked, broken up by cannon fire, and charged down by French cuirassiers.
They would have just got there like a little bit before, when their troops are still organized. Then maybe they would have done a lot better. The marshal must be seeing double. Oh, wow. I don't know what that means.
Meanwhile, 12 miles to the north, near Auerstadt, Marshal Davout was marching southwest, expecting...
Oh yeah, also, why does it say Jena at the top right there? Like
to
a
fall
city?
on the Prussian left wing at Jena.
Oh.
Instead, he
Okay. Well, they just answered my question.
encountered the Duke of Brunswick's main
I don't see. I'm confused.
Marshal Davout was marching southwest, expecting to fall on the Prussian left wing at Jena.
Oh.
Instead, he encountered the Duke of Brunswick's main Prussian army, heading north
no.
to take up new positions.
Oh, God.
Davout's 3 Corps, 27,000 men and 48 guns, was about to face odds of 2 to 1. While Bernadotte's 1 Corps, which had orders to support Davout, was nowhere to be seen.
Oh my God.
Davout, nicknamed the Iron Marshal, showed no signs of alarm.
What?
He formed his 1st Division into a defensive line centered on the village of Hassenhausen. His infantry
Hassenhausen. An interesting name.
forming squares to repel a series of cavalry charges by General Blücher's advance guard.
Oh, God.
His other 2
Concentrate your troops in one area. Don't do that. Oh, my goodness.
infantry divisions arrived to strengthen the line,
Whoops.
standing firm in the face of repeated Prussian attacks.
Oh, wow.
The Prussian movements were slow and poorly coordinated, nor did they use their numerical advantage to try and outflank Davout.
I know. They're
At a crucial
so
moment,
open.
the Duke of Brunswick was shot through the eyes,
What?
a wound that proved fatal. King Frederick William himself took command. Several Prussian units remained uncommitted, but the king, convinced he faced the main French army under Napoleon, dithered. Around 12:15, Marshal Davout counterattacked. The Prussian army turned and fled.
Oh my God.
Davout had...
What the hell happened? How do you do that? Why? The Prussian leadership is even worse than the Austrian and Russian leadership. Oh my gosh. This is just awful. Wow. Whoops, I just hit myself in the head. Oh, I just did it again. Whoops.
won a stunning victory against the odds, but at a heavy price. His corps suffered 25% casualties.
Oh, wow.
1 man in 4 killed or wounded, while inflicting twice as many losses on the Prussians.
Seriously, my jaw just drops every, 10 seconds in this episode. Wow. Tell the marshal that he, his generals, and his troops have gained everlasting claims on your gratitude. Oh, that's nice of him.
When news reached Napoleon that Marshal Davout had engaged and defeated the main Prussian army, he reacted first with disbelief, then heaped praise upon the Iron Marshal, later awarding him the title Duke of Auerstadt.
Dang.
Marshal Bernadotte, in contrast, was nearly court-martialed for failing to support Davout. Napoleon's army began a masterful pursuit of the beaten Prussians, giving them no time to regather their strength.
Oh no, they're gonna reach Berlin. Wait a minute. I don't remember. Right now, is the capital of Prussia Königsberg or Berlin? I guess it's Berlin.
2 weeks after the twin battles of Jena, Auerstadt, Napoleon's troops, led by Davout's heroic III Corps, entered Berlin.
No!
The next day, General Hohenlohe surrendered at Prenzlau.
Oh my god, they're screwed. Look at them. They're all like trapped over there.
At Lübeck, General Blücher and 20,000
But how did they get to Lübeck? They don't even own that city.
Prussians were driven out of the city in heavy fighting.
What? They just let them cross? I don't understand. Was Lübeck just like, okay, yeah, you guys can go into my country and just fight? Like, what?
Forced to surrender. While 25,000 Prussians besieged at Magdeburg surrendered to Marshal Ney.
Oh no.
Russia's army had been devastated by a Napoleonic blitzkrieg. In just 33 days, Russia had lost 20,000 dead, 140,000 prisoners, 800 guns, and 250 standards.
What is the standard?
It was a humiliation that proud Prussians like General Blücher would neither forget nor forgive. Unlike Saxony, King...
Those freaking Russian generals need to be court-martialed. What the heck? What's wrong with them?
Frederick William refused to make peace with...
Oh wow, I guess Saxony just got out of the war? What?
Napoleon. He continued to hold out in East Prussia.
Yeah, the thing about Prussia is that they didn't surrender until like the very end. Like they had to lose like 90% of their land for them to finally surrender.
Trusting in the approaching Russian armies to rescue his kingdom.
No, they're not gonna rescue you. Like maybe they'll delay their advance by a little bit, but no. Are you kidding me? Did you see what happened with the Russians in Bavaria and Austria? Come on.
Despite another glorious victory for Napoleon and the Grande Armée, the war was not won yet.
So what are you doing, Britain? Help your old ally. Like, you don't seem to be doing anything.
Napoleon Bonaparte was one of the greatest military commanders of all time. But who were some of the worst? Find out with the great courses...
The freaking... Russian generals that... Why? Why? Okay, wow. Prussia got annihilated. Thank you all for watching. That was a very cool video. Wow. The next episode, we'll be talking about Napoleon defeats Russia. But that's weird. They defeat Russia. I guess it's talking about maybe the Russian reinforcements in Prussia. I guess they're talking about that. Wow. Look at that. Very interesting. Napoleon's Vienna. Okay, anyways, thank you all for watching, and goodbye. I'll see you in the next one. Hello everyone, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it and subscribe to my channel. And, turn on the notification bell thingy. And if you didn't, then make sure to leave a thumbs down. Oh yeah, that would be greatly appreciated. And while you're at it, go ahead and watch my other videos. They're probably just as good, and if not better than this one right now. Except for my oldest videos, don't watch those. And, subscribe to these people down here, my fellow sergeants. They're other YouTubers that I either know or I have in high regards. Yeah, even my cat agrees. So, thank you for watching, and have a great day.